Jose has always loved football, but the problem was he wasn't great at playing it. Like many of us, Jose was introduced to football by his father. Felix was a goalkeeper in the Portuguese First Division, and little Jose would go along to his training sessions and matches. Felix then becomes a manager, and this is when Jose realises how brutal football can be. In 1984, Felix manages to take his team to the Portuguese Cup final. They don't win, and just 3 months later, on Christmas Day, Felix is sacked. Jose plays centre midfield, and by 24 he realises he hasn't got what it takes to make it to the top. He understood football, but physically he wasn't up to standard. Early on, Jose shifts his focus from playing to coaching. He studies physical education and attends courses by the English FA, and he soon follows in his mum's footsteps as a teacher. But despite teaching PE, football was his passion. He coaches a youth side at Victoria Setúbal. Here, Jose meets the first man that really believes he can make it to the top, but as a manager this time, Manuel Fernandes, the head coach. After working together for 2 years, Manuel gets a new job, Estrela Amadora. First person he calls to take with him, Mourinho. He tells him, Jose, quit your job at the school and come work with me full-time at the club. And Jose, he does. But the brutality of football strikes again. Just 6 months, Manuel's sacked. And Mourinho, he's got to go too. So for Jose, it's back to the PE classes. Manuel gets another job at Ovenent. And on the side, Jose does a little bit of scouting for him. But at the weekends, he takes his wife with him for the trips. But it doesn't bother Manuel, because his reports are second to none. In 1992, Manuel gets hired for Sporting's technical team. He tells his new club about Mourinho, but they're not too interested. He tells them, just give him any role at the club, he will make it to the top. And Sporting hire Bobby Robson. Bobby arrives at the airport. He meets Sporting's director, who doesn't speak a word of English. Hola, como ve? Bobby, no idea what he just said. The 29-year-old Jose Mourinho walks over. I'll be your translator. Mourinho takes this opportunity with both hands. He works and works, travels to analyse opponents, and he's up till 4 AM making sure they're perfect for Bobby Robson. Bobby would read the reports, and he couldn't believe the detail from Mourinho. He realises early on he is far from just a translator. Bobby moves to Porto, but he makes sure he takes Mourinho with him. Now, his assistant manager. And in 1996, Barcelona tried to hire Bobby. Schedule a meeting, and Bobby turns up with his right-hand man. Barcelona said, what is he doing here? Bobby said, if you want me, I want him as my assistant. Barca said, nah, we've got much better candidates. We will sort all that out. Bobby then says, let me rephrase that. I need him as my assistant. You can pay him out of my salary, but I need him. He, to begin with, can't speak a word of Spanish. Though many think Mourinho is just a translator. At Barca, they win 3 out of 4 titles, and then they sign Ronaldo Nazario from PSV. The very next day is the 1996 Spanish Super Cup against Atletico Madrid. During pre-season, their Argentinian striker Pizzi had been scoring for fun, but Bobby puts him on the bench and says Ronaldo is going straight in. Mourinho says, hang on Bob, that's not exactly fair. He's only been here a day. Then Bobby says, do you want to be a nice guy or do you want to win football matches? Mourinho says, fair point, I want to win matches. Barcelona win 5-2, Ronaldo scores a brace. Mourinho was learning all he could from Bobby, but surprisingly, they were about to split. After 1 season, Bobby gets the sack, and Rangel comes in. Mourinho says, I'll leave the club as well then if you're getting rid of Bobby. But Bobby calls him and says, don't you dare leave Barcelona. This is an incredible opportunity for you. Keep working under Louis and gain even more knowledge, but do not leave. And Louis takes well to Mourinho, because Mourinho is always brutally honest. Louis, he appreciates that. Then Benfica come in. Mourinho tells Louis. Louis says, if it's an assistant role, don't leave. If you're the main man, definitely leave. Van Gaal tells the press, a great assistant has ended his career, and a great manager has begun one. Mourinho, believing he was ready to be the main man, was in for another shock. Benfica had a presidential change, and the new president stated he did not want Jose in charge. 2 months later, Mourinho quits. But the way Benfica treat Mourinho would be one of their biggest mistakes. Junio Laria give Mourinho a chance. He tells Jose, just keep us up and use young players. But other than that, do what you wish. By April, they're in 3rd place. But Porto are in need for a new manager. Benfica come running back too. They realise they made a mistake with Mourinho. But Mourinho chooses Porto. See, for most managers, it's a lot more difficult if you haven't had a professional career. If you haven't played the game to the highest level, people are going to think, do you really know what you're talking about? But this didn't bother Mourinho one bit. Porto build a project around Mourinho. They win back-to-back league titles. And in 2004, they lift the Champions League. Mourinho, for his dedication and relentless attitude, becomes the special one.